welcome to the World Builders Library. We're back in the biography section today, looking out at the view. In the distance, I can clearly make out a coastline from here. World Building Coastlines is going to be an episode sooner than later. Or already done, because I'm a time traveler. For now, we're talking about the Ponderosa Posse and their economic development of a little town named Armitage. My name is Lewis Nichols, but I'm really just here to introduce Angela. Is the Posse an all-girls team? I've been rolling dice for it, but it's starting to look like a trend. Oh, yeah, Angela. She's Dragonborn, gold-skinned and fiery. She's a 5th level wizard, a master of illusion. Using a standard matrix, we get the ability scores of an 8 for strength, 12 dexterity, 13 con, 15 intelligence, 14 wisdom, and a 10 charisma. Now we often make some minor changes. For most wizards, everything except for intelligence is personal preference. By the time that we get done, she's going to have an 18 there, and we'll have a leftover +1 to push something up to an even number. Then, with her 8th level and 12th level ASI scores, she's also going to put that into intelligence, unless it gets raised by some other method. All that aside, we're not going to make any tweaks today. I'm happy with the scores that I've listed. Now what does Angela get as a wizard? She has a D6 for hit points and proficiency in intelligence and wisdom saving throws. Available skills are Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, Nature, and Religion. She is proficient only in simple weapons and has no armor training. As usual, we're not going to pick all of her skills until we know the full range of options. A wizard's biggest niche in 5e D&D is the variety of spells they have to draw from. Angela started with 3 cantrips. Mage Hand, Ray of Frost, and Minor Image were her choices. She also started with a spell book containing 6 first-level spells. Her book started illusion heavy. As far as Angela is concerned, she was an illusionist from the age of 6 when she started learning how to perform basic parlor tricks. You know, finding coins hidden behind people's ears and pick a card, any card sort of stuff. You don't have to be a thing out of the rule book to call yourself that thing in-game. So, what about cantrips? These are minor magics that a caster can perform without expending resources. It's the fighters hitting somebody with a sword. They do it consistently and repeatedly, possibly every 6 seconds until they get bored or need a nap. Leveled spells are different in that they do expend resources, spell slots to be specific. A leveled spell uses 1 slot of the appropriate or higher level, but many spells gain power when you use a higher slot. For instance, most wizards keep Magic Missile on their prepared list. Using a first level slot, it fires out 3 missile projections that each strike their target for 1d4 plus 1 force damage. If a second level slot is used, it's 4 missiles. Third, 5 missiles, etc. Wizards don't really have a limit on the number of spells that they can store in their book. This varies a lot depending upon the campaign. Some DMs are a little stingy, others make spells easily available, or have spell creation rules, or both. Either way, the number of options a wizard has can become quite large. Now what about the nature of this book? You may have a lot of latitude here depending upon what your DM allows. I had a character who kept their spells on a deck of cards. Tattoos are a favorite alternative. It could be a lot of different things, but remember, the book is a vulnerability as well. It is a physical thing that can be lost or destroyed. I've never known a DM to target a wizard player's book, but in battle, in the chaos of adventuring, anything can happen. Angela picks up 2 extra spells automatically per level and more when she acquires her subclass. This gives her a minimum of 18, and we'll say she's gained 4 more over her adventures. 1 she bought, 2 were treasure, and 1 was a reward. After each long rest, she can select 9 of these to have at the ready. During that day, she can expend spell slots on those 9. She has a spell attack of 3 plus 4 and a spell DC of 8 plus 3 plus 4. The 3s are her proficiency bonus, also known as a pro bonus. The 4s come from her 18 intelligence score. Greatly adding to Angela's daily spell list is the first level class feature, Ritual Adept. This means that she could cast any spell from her spell book that is marked as a ritual spell. The spell does not have to be prepared. It takes longer to cast, but costs no resources. At 2nd level, Angela gets Scholar. I love this feature. It gives wizards expertise and a skill on their class list of options. This makes them exceptional at something like Arcana or Investigation. At 4th, yes, skipping ahead again, at 4th, wizards get their ASI. Angela went with Warcaster, one of my favorites. It gives her advantage on all concentration checks. If you didn't know, most illusions require concentration. At 5th level, wizards gain another feature adding to their versatility. Memorize Spell allows them to replace a spell on a short rest. This doesn't look like much. Honestly, the first few times I looked at it, I kind of thought, yeah. But what it really does is open up their entire spell book to solve a problem. For example, the party was expecting a combat-heavy day, but it turns out they are in for a whack of role-playing with a group that they cannot communicate with. Angela has tongues in her spell book. Well, not really, but this is the example. Anyway, we're going to say she has it, but it's not prepared. So after a short rest, she swaps it out for one of her other spells, and now she can use it for the upcoming conversations. Okay, back to the Illusionist subclass. We already know she's getting a number of spells to add to her book. These are all going to be Illusionist spells. It's going to be a total of 4. The 3rd level subclass feature, Improved Illusion, is a big bump. You lose the verbal components for illusion spells, all of them, making it easier to be sneaky. You gain a lot of range on your illusions, and the minor illusion cantrip gains a nice boost. Creativity helps with every aspect of playing these games that we love so much, but I've always thought that it is an absolute must with illusionists. You have to ride the line between effectiveness and believability in your creations. You want your spells to fluster the enemy, possibly cause damage, definitely be a distraction, but never quite encourage the target to take a steady action. Before we figure out background skills and fill in some numbers, I'd like to remind you that you have watched about half of this video. If you're here, it must not suck. Hit the like button, subscribe if I've inspired you, or possibly even revealed a little crease in the rules that you didn't know about before. Alright, let's dive into backgrounds. I need something for intelligence and constitution. From the 2024 Players Handbook, that gives us criminal, sage, and merchant. I have an idea for criminal, but let's check out something else. I recently bought Game Brew Tomes Welcome Guide to 5e 2024 bundle. It has a few backgrounds and origin feats, among other things. I'm definitely importing some of this into my world, and it has inspired some other thinking. And I suppose it's my duty to admit, as a content provider, that they are not paying me. They don't know I exist. This is all candid. Looking at their backgrounds, this adds Soulstone Soldier and Topside Brewer. Those aren't really good choices thematically. It does add something called Witchmarked, so we're going to put a pin in that one. Keep in mind, if you want to mix and match origin feats and ability score improvements inside the 2024 Players Handbook backgrounds, go for it. One of the very first premises from D&D, core, #1 rule, modify as you see fit. Personally, I'm going to keep it a little bit more rigid, sticking to them as they're written up, and adding a little bit here and there. It's just the route I've chosen to go. Alright, Witchmarked. The description says this person was born under a bad sign or influenced at a young age by a crone. I would probably make that a hag. That's probably what they were really going for too. Basically, it's someone that was almost a warlock, but it really didn't work out. In fact, the origin feat is Magic Initiate Warlock. The skills it provides are Arcana and Religion. And after due consideration, yeah, I'm going with Criminal. Sorry, Game Brewing Tomes. I guarantee you're going to be relevant in the future. I think Angela was born to a wealthy home with inattentive parents. Her magic tricks were a way of reaching out for attention. She rubbed elbows with other rich families and found out that she could stir up drama by making things disappear. Nothing better when a royal's necklace is stolen, only to be found inside the vest pocket of a visiting diplomat. And nobody expects the child. She drew the attention of a local thieves guild and found that they were better company than her own family. She lived a double life through her teens before eventually getting caught. Madge, anybody remember Madge? She was from our last show. She was forming a team about the same time when Angela was brought into the temple for punishment, and Madge told her, "You're young, but you may have already ruined your life. You'll never be able to settle for simple and boring again. So, serve your time here if you want. Clean the floors for a year, get rehabilitated, then run back to your thieving friends. Next time you get caught, you'll end up short a hand. Or you can join my team. You won't be any better for it, but we'll keep things interesting for you, and you'll be too busy for petty crime." Why am I going this way? Well, first of all, most important thing, very basic level, it gives us the attribute bonuses that we need. But we're also going to take advantage of this background in resolving one of our economic development subplots. So don't forget to keep up with that playlist. Alright, what skills do we end up with? It's stealth and sleight of hand for her criminal background, and we're going to go with investigation and history for being a wizard. We'll do investigation for her expertise. Her origin feat is alert, letting her add her proficiency bonus to her initiative rolls and giving her the ability to swap turns with any willing ally at the beginning of combat. Alright, what about Dragonborn stuff? She is medium size. She moves at 30. Her breath weapon is a little bit better than a cantrip and can be used proficiency bonus times per day. The element depends upon lineage, so fire for gold. She is also resistant to fire damage. Not being human, she has dark vision. Finally, at 5th level, Angela got a fly speed. For 10 minutes a day, her regular speed also serves her for a short flight. By the book, spectral wings appear, but I kind of like the idea of a Dragonborn always having those wings. They're usually just not strong enough to propel her through the air. Only for those Dragonborn reaching 5th level do they become more useful. This also opens up the door for spells, feats, and such, working with the wings for enhanced distance, time, or speed. Angela has 32 hit points, not bad for a wizard. Unfortunately, her AC is abysmal at 11, 14 with mage armor. Blur and mirror image both help if melee is unavoidable. Invisibility and flight are her escape routes. She's not known for damage output, but specializes in distraction, whether it's forcing an enemy to take time avoiding an illusory obstacle or running from a non-existent swarm of bees. Angela looks for ways to make the enemy waste time and actions. If damage turns out to be the best route, Ray of Frost, Magic Missile, Flaming Sphere, and Fireball are her favorites. Often, opening with a flaming sphere helps her back up the reality of fire-related illusions she uses later. If she has to use her quarterstaff in battle, things must be bleak indeed. Her +1 dexterity gives her a 25% chance to hit a moderate AC of 15. On a hit, 5 points of damage would be the expected output. Bastions. Yep, it's a regular thing now. Every single character video is going to have them. Angela is a member of the Ponderosa Party, and they are coordinating their bastions, but so far the overlap has not really been an issue. Around the time Angela moves to 5th level, her home is ready, built by the people of Armitage. She's a little reclusive and not the town's favorite hero, but she's part of a team that has given the simple laborers here a chance of making a good life in the mines. If the town does well, maybe their children can be shop owners, and their children might even have a chance of becoming part of the new nobility when the territory is eventually absorbed into the greater state. Our illusionist chooses the library and the arcane study for special facilities. The study allows the production of blank books and arcane focuses. It generates a little bit of income, just enough to kind of break even. The library is essentially a research facility where workers can generate facts pertinent to a given subject over time. Angela's Bastion is concentrated and just a little bit off the beaten path. However, it's a small town and you can only get so far away. Alright, everybody thank Angela for stopping by. We only have one more NPC left to complete the quartet, and that will be something we're going to get to fairly quickly, maybe as early as next week. I want to thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate the time that we've had together. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Cheers.